how do you grow into something if you don't have a foundation to grow from? I used to get lost looking for other people's ideas, their own foundations, their own structures that they had created, try to bring them on as my own, and then try to expand or grow from someone else's ideas. And while it can work for a little while, it doesn't work in the long term. It does give you the strength and the idea that it is possible to create those ideas, but you have to end up going to that place where it's like, okay, well, I need to create my own now. And it's not to give yourself this structure that you have to abide by. Instead, it allows you to look at those different areas of your life and really have a look at what thoughts you're holding around them. What beliefs are you structuring the way that you think, or the way that you express, or the way that you act in your life? Because once you look at them, then you can find the piece of it that you go, yeah, that piece is mine. That is going to become a foundational structure to who I am. And we can use this for a whole range of things. It doesn't just have to be one area. We can use it for the way that we express ourselves, the way that we communicate with others, the way that we relate to our family, the way that we operate on a daily schedule, the way that we think or react to things. And it's not about judging it or deciding, yep, this is good, this is bad, I'm not doing this well enough, or I'm doing too much in this area over here. Instead, it's just bringing that awareness to the way that you are being in your own authentic state. You don't actually realize some of the things that you are holding on to until you actually look at the things that you're holding on to. Because you'll find different ways in different areas where you are thinking, okay, well, I'm doing this like this, but I can also do this like this. And then you are given a choice of whether you want to hold both of those, whether you want to hold multiple ways in which you hold that foundation. Or you can decide that amongst those different ideas that I have, this is the common thread. This is the way that something looks. I can give you a very simple example of myself. So I had always been penalized or thought that the way that I create and the way that I think in multiple different areas where I need to be working on a lot of things at once was something that was not the right way to do it, that you needed to focus on one thing, follow down that path until that was completed, then move on to something else. And I tried and I tried and I tried and I could not do that. So instead, I created the way that my business is, the way that I express myself into this human realm is on multiple different levels. So I have different aspects of the way that I express myself, so that allows me to create in a way that works for me. So instead of where I have to focus on one idea or one program or one opportunity, nearly started sounding like a song, instead I can start working on a project or working on something that I'm doing. And then when I feel that release, that energy release of, yeah, we're not doing this anymore, we're sick of doing this, we're not aligned with moving that in the right direction, let's go do something else. And because I've set up all these different ways that I can express myself, I move over into something else. So whereas before, where I was told and believed and thought that we could only create in one way, we had to focus on one thing at a time, I tried and it didn't work. So I create a way that works for me now, and it's only because I looked at that foundational piece of where was this feeling good, where was this not feeling good, where was this working, where was this not working. And it's going to be different for everyone, but you won't know until you start actually looking at that. And if you just start in one area, just look at, whether it's your business, whether it's the way you communicate with others, maybe it's the way you organize yourself in a day. If you look at one of those areas and you start to give it more of some sort of foundational structure, even though that sounds like a very locked in word, if you can create it in a way that it's going to work for you and something that feels right and is aligned for you, everything else is going to start to feel a lot more easier.